So my job as a practitioner is to be the person who actually carries the lantern beside you as we go into the darkness. In this video, I'm going to teach you what somatic therapy is and why I think it's such a powerful therapeutic tool, but also a coaching modality. So because you're on this video, I think that you're probably already in the market for understanding somatic therapy. You've probably heard of the word before. If not, you're definitely going to understand it by the end of this, and you're going to be able to make a decision as to whether seeking out a somatic therapist or a somatic therapy facilitator is going to be helpful for you. So just like in any personal development journey, you might have a goal to change something in your life, to behave different, to change a pattern or a feeling. But even though you can logically understand that that pattern or feeling isn't good for you, you might be able to change your mind for a few days or maybe even a few weeks and feel a different type of way, or try and affirm yourself with affirmations that you are confident or you are worthy, but for some reason you keep being dragged back down into the same undesirable emotional loop, pattern, behavior, spiral, whatever it is. And this is because we are trying to convince the logical mind while ignoring the unconscious and the subconscious parts of our brain that are largely running the show. So when you are born, for the first early years of your life, the formative years, depending on your culture, the society around you, your family dynamics, how your caregivers treated you, etc., you are going to form a specific identity around who you are and who you think you should be in the world. And the identity that you form is, you've been molded into this, and it's largely for the motivation of love. Because as the innocent little beings we are, all we are trying to do is survive and feel loved. And if we aren't loved, if we're neglected, if our parent isn't able to attune to our needs, then there will be an imprint within our subconscious system that is now teaching us how we need to operate in order to survive better. So depending on the situation, you may have learned to be a very independent person who takes care of themselves, and that feels good for you and that feels right. You may have learned that it is okay for people to communicate poorly to you. You may have learned that you may have not learned what your boundaries are or how to express what your needs are, and all of this is so normal. So I know the word trauma has been kind of a buzzword in the last couple of years, and thankfully so, actually, because it is the reason that I got into this work. And I want to say a couple things about trauma. One, in the trauma space, sometimes people use the terms big T and little t trauma. Big T trauma being a one-off, very shocking event, something like an accident or an abuse, and little t trauma being micro experiences that go against who we are, what our boundaries are, and what we need to thrive as humans. So humans don't only need food and water and shelter, we also need love. And a baby who doesn't get picked up will die. Even if they get fed, even if they are sheltered and protected, even if they're given water, if they're not touched by another human, their level of safety feels so low that they are in a constant state of stress and panic that will actually lead to them not being alive anymore. So that just shows us that our needs are not so primal as food and water, but we do need to be loved. Anyway, all to say that if you weren't sure already, chances are you have experienced some sort of trauma. No matter how privileged your life may be, it doesn't matter, because you only know your own worst day or your own worst experience. And again, even though the mind can say, well, life was good, or it wasn't that bad because my parents are still together, or I had food on the plate every day, your nervous system and your emotional body and your subconscious could have been having a really painful and hard experience. So I want to say that in order to give some permission and validation to what you might be feeling, because I think a lot of times people think they need to have been very traumatized in order to go into personal development work or hire a coach, when really all you need to do is want a change in your life. So getting into somatic therapy. Somatic therapy focuses on the subconscious and the mind-body connection, and it runs on the theory that our body holds the memories of our entire lifetime. So you may have heard of the book Waking the Tiger or The Body Keeps the Score, and these bodies largely talk about how our experiences are held in our body, and our subconscious is so much more powerful than our thinking mind for dictating how we act and behave and what we believe, that it will constantly run the show. There's another quote from Carl Jung, and he says, "Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will run our life." So what we're doing in somatic therapy is we're working with the subconscious and the unconscious part of our body, or maybe something that that actually has been brought to our conscious or our awareness, but we're unsure how to change or unlock it on our own because we're trying to do it from a thinking level instead of a body level. So somatic therapy is rooted in working with the nervous system to uncoil the stress that we've experienced, to bring safety and presence to the fear or the pain that we've experienced, and to also move the emotions that didn't get to express. So when we feel an emotion, there is a chemical release in our body. That's how we know we're feeling the emotion. There's a stimulus from our environment. The body says sad, anger, grief, frustration, releases a specific chemical that allows us to be like, oh, I'm feeling sad, anger, grief, frustration, or joy or happiness. And if in that moment the mind goes, nope, I can't feel that, that's unsafe, anger is no, sadness is no, we suppress it from expressing out of our body. And we might express through sound, through tears, through word, through journaling, through movement, even like an animal, for example, after it's been attacked by another animal, even in play, they shake it off, right? They're moving that energy out of their body, that adrenaline that came up in the state of being attacked or play fighting, or after they fell off something, they shake it off. And that is what our animal body needs to do as well. If we don't do that, then it stays in our body, and it actually takes a lot of energy and a lot of capacity to keep holding those emotions in our body. So year after year, these things kind of tend to bottle up, and they present as physical symptoms like chronic pain, disease, indigestion, insomnia, and it's our body's way of getting louder and louder and saying, hey, I need something from you here. There's something here I want to express. So to bring it back more to a coaching experience, because you might be wanting to hire a life coach, a personal development coach, mindset coach, somatic therapy coach, whatever it is. And if they're using mindset techniques, that might be something like cognitive behavioral therapy, which really relies on watching our thought loops and inserting a different thought. It might rely on affirmations or different sort of exercises to build your own conviction in who you want to be and why. And that stuff can definitely be powerful, because the more clarity that we get on why we want to be the person that we want to be, the more evidence we have for wanting to create that change and the benefits of creating that change. However, if you're feeling like someone who can't focus or wants to be more productive, or you are unhappy with your attachment style, so how you relate to other people, the types of relationships you attract, if you're familiar with the term attachment style, you might know that you're anxious or avoidant. And when we're talking about this type of stuff, it's usually so fundamentally built within us, these patterns, that we have to go into the body to change it. And you may have also noticed that you can conceptually understand something on a mental level, but still in your day-to-day life, you make the choice that does not align with that mental level. And that's because your body doesn't feel safe in doing that. So there's an incongruency between what your mind is available for and what your body is available for. And that's where we go in somatic therapy. I also wanted to say that I think the reason some people find somatic therapy and why it's becoming more popular now is that traditional therapy just hasn't felt like the thing for people. They haven't got the results that they wanted. Maybe they've seen multiple therapists. Maybe they're not feeling better after the therapy session. And I'm not slamming traditional therapy in any way. It just doesn't work for everyone. So this is an opportunity to try something different, to make it really about you, your experience, the healing of that experience, and the forward momentum that can come after the experience, instead of just reliving and talking about the past experience. And that's another reason why I think it's not only so powerful, but also becoming more and more popular and sought after. So you're probably wondering, if I'm in a somatic therapy session, what does that look like? What's going to happen? I want to say that in my own practice, somatic therapy is one of the tools that I have in my toolbox. It doesn't always make sense to go straight into somatic therapy right away, because somatic therapy requires a level of being in touch with the body. And some people have the experience of their body feeling quite disconnected from them, their body feeling numb, and we want to make sure that we're actually available to work with sensation. So somatic therapy is just one of the tools that I use in my practice, and I'm going to speak to what using somatic therapy looks like in my practice. So chances are we have a 60 or 90 minute session together, and we spend the first part of that session talking about something that may be new to our practice, or maybe it came from a previous session, but we're putting on the table what feels off, what's not feeling good, what's not working. From there, it almost becomes kind of like a guided meditation. It's important for your body to be relaxed. So of course, I'm going to invite you to take some deep breaths. Our practitioner would invite you to do the same, because we're trying to take the brain out of that alpha, really active thinking state, into more of a beta or even theta, delta wave, although we probably wouldn't get that deep in the brain waves. And it's just a state of relaxation so that the body, so that your blood pressure can lower, your heart rate can slow down a little bit, more oxygen in the body through the breath, etc., allowing you to sink into the present moment. From there, the practitioner will start asking you questions about what you're noticing in your body. And you might be noticing different temperatures, you might be noticing tightness, a buzzing feeling, even pain. You might notice something that feels, like I said, cold, warm, buzzing, tight, anything. And all you need to do is follow and answer the questions of the practitioner. So if you tell me that you feel a tightness in your chest or warmth in your palms when you are bringing to your mind a certain experience, then we want to get even more curious. Is there an emotion there? Is there an emotion behind the sensation? Yeah, actually, I feel really exhausted, or I feel frustrated, or I feel angry, or I feel sad. Okay, so here's the opportunity for that emotion that is actually so close to the surface of your body when we just tune into it to express. And we might express that in different ways, sound, muscle squeezing, pushing against something, using different tools. There's a lot of different directions to go here, and I'm not explaining this to try and give you the tools to go facilitate it yourself, because it's quite hard to facilitate this type of work yourself, because the mind will probably tell you again why you shouldn't feel what's in the body, because it's too painful, and that's why we've been avoiding it all the time. But I do want to highlight that all you need to do is be present with your body to the best of your ability and listen to the guidance of the practitioner, and it will unfold and your body will speak to you through your words, through your English language, or through your language, what it needs from you. And from there, we get to offer ourselves exactly what we needed and probably didn't get or need in order to move forward and get the thing we want. And one other note on the logistic point of what happens in a session, integration is really important. So we can go into our body and our subconscious mind, and we can learn something really important about ourselves, about something that we need or didn't get or want. But then we have to go take action on that thing. And while big shifts and unlocks and light bulb moments and everything definitely happen in session, it's important that we continue to work with that so that we can form a new neural pattern. Because we've been practicing something else for so long, maybe years and years and years in a specific way, and now we are asking our body to practice a new way. And in the session, we realized, wow, this new way feels way better. It feels so aligned with me. It feels liberating. It feels like it's getting me in the direction I want. But the practice route is a rut that's pretty deep. So we need to keep driving and driving and driving this new route. So of course, a therapist or a somatic therapist is going to give you some tools in order to continue with that integration. That's also why it's very helpful and usually much more effective to work with someone long-term, and I would assume that most coaches suggest that as well, so that you can make sure that you are actually not just getting results, but able to maintain them. And we can go a lot deeper the more sessions we do together, etc., etc. I feel like so far in this video, it's pretty clear that somatic therapy is linked to trauma work and deep healing work. And I know when it comes to hiring a coach or thinking about personal development or getting a better mindset, we usually are projecting this result that we're gonna get that feels exciting. You know, it's gonna feel so good to be more productive or so good to be more confident or whatever it is. But I think the reason likely that we haven't gotten into that light, big, fun experience is because there's something that's kind of in the dark or kind of in the shadows holding us back. So my job as a practitioner is to be the person who actually carries the lantern beside you as we go into the darkness. To me, this is such a diversely applicable tool, and I think more and more in the therapy space, we're seeing how important it is for the body to be included in the therapeutic modality. So regardless if you're just working on having trouble sleeping or having insomnia or being in chronic states of overwhelm and anxiety and stress and burnout, or if you feel withdrawn and that you are isolating and you're not someone that used to do that, or you feel uninterested in social activities all the time, if you're frustrated in relationships, if you have a poor relationship to your body, if you know outright that you have difficulty expressing your emotions but you can see the value in learning how to do that, then somatic therapy is going to be helpful. I'd love to answer any other questions you have about this modality. There's a lot to say and I don't want to get too technical or dump too much information. I just want it to feel like something that is inviting, and when you are hiring a coach or a therapist, I would really encourage you to see if this is something they offer, because it really adds a depth of the potential of the transformation you can have. And I think part of being human, you know, is going back to rediscover those parts of ourselves that we probably inevitably shut down or shunned away for whatever reason. And the more that we have to hide or mask from who we really are, the more the body will probably talk to us. The more we ignore what the body has to say, the louder it will get. And it truly, scientifically, you know, leads to disease states. And that's not what we want. When we can learn how to regulate our body and regulate our nervous system consistently, then the experience that we get to have is experiencing more positive emotions more often, experiencing more health, experiencing more self-trust, experiencing more confidence. And these are just journeys that I love to take people on, the men and women that I work with. It's always so transformative, but also the personal insight that comes up is just mind-blowing all of the time. I love it so much. So again, let me know if you have any questions. If you'd like to consider working with me, there will be a way to contact me through my website below as well. And I'd love to speak more about the topic. So let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.